So today we're going to be talking about Chapter 3, Lesson 3. This is called Multiplying Rational Numbers. Recall from last time that rational numbers are simply a number that can be written as a ratio of two other numbers, so a fraction. So when we start multiplying rational numbers together, we have two different fractions here. It doesn't actually matter what the letters represent. They just cannot be 0 where B and D are. So B and D can't be 0. Because if they were, that number would be undefined. That is not an okay thing to do. So, when we start multiplying fractions together, we simply do numerator times numerator, so A times C, and then denominator times denominator, so B times D. And then, of course, we have to simplify at the end if we can. So, let's go through some examples here. Example 1, find 2/5 times 5/8. So, 2 times 5 is 10, and 5 times 8 is 40. This can be simplified. They both have a common factor of 10. So, if I divide both the numerator and the denominator by 10, that common factor, 10 divided by 10 is 1, 40 divided by 10 is 4. So 2/5 times 5/8 is 1/4. Example 2, let's do the same process. -1 times 2 is -2. 4 times 7 is 28. They both have a factor of 2 that is common between them. So -2 divided by 2 is -1. 28 divided by 2 is 14. So that is the simplified fraction of -1/4 times 2/7. Example 3 is a little bit more difficult. It says find 1 1/2 times 3 2/3. So when we have mixed numbers being multiplied together, one process that we can use is converting each one of these mixed numbers to an improper fraction. So in order to do that, we do 2 times 1, which is 2, plus 1, which is 3. So my new fraction is now 3/2, or 3/2. Same thing here. 3 times 3 is 9, plus 2 is 11, so this would be 11/3. Multiply across now. 3 times 11 is 33. 2 times 3 is 6. I now have an improper fraction. I don't like improper fractions at the end, so what I want to do is I want to change that to a mixed number. So the process is how many 6's can come out of 33? Well, that'd be 5 of them. And I'd have 3 out of 6 left over. Next step is I need to continuously simplify. This 3 and 6 both have a common factor of 3. So 5 1/2. Next question, example 4. This now says to evaluate. So I have some variables in here with this expression, but I know what each one of those variables are. So I do 2/3. X, it says, represents -3/4, so I'm going to put -3/4 where I saw an X. And same thing with Y. It says Y is -1/2, so wherever I saw a Y, I would put -1/2. Now, same thing with multiplying integers. We simply multiply from left to right. So I have 2 times -3, which is -6, times -1, which is a +6. 3 times 4 is 12, times 2 is 24. These numbers both have a common factor of 6. So if I divide both of them by 6, 6 divided by 6 is 1. 24 divided by 6 is 4. So 2/3 times negative 3/4 times negative 1/2 is 1/4. All right, if you have any questions, please let me know. Otherwise, this is the end of lesson 3.